Hey world, my name's Ashley Flowers and this is my story. So, my whole entire life, I've been dealing with some sort of addiction in my life. Maybe not me, but the people around me, as well, dealing most of my life with a mental illness. I've never come out and said that. It's hard. But let's, I guess, start at the beginning. When I was 16 years old, I found out both my parents were drug addicts. They both used heroin and other drugs, and I lived with my brother and my mom and dad and my best friend. My brother then realized that it wasn't safe for me to be in the house anymore, and he made sure that I got the right resources to get on social assistance and get out on my own and be free from their addiction. What I didn't know at the time was that my brother was already lost. He had already had an addiction of his own, and I wouldn't have found that out until many years later. So when I was 16, I left home. I got my own place. I lived with friends. I went from different couch to different couch. I lived with boyfriends. It was hard, I had to stop school early. I tried a couple times to go back by myself, but it didn't really work when you don't have anybody behind you going, you can do this. I say a lot, by the way. So let's just say when I was 17, I was living with a boyfriend, and one night I decided that I couldn't sleep, so I was going to smoke a joint. I'd done it plenty of times before, to be able to sleep, because it helped me sleep. It helped my thoughts calm down. Well, after we did that, we watched a scary movie, and I went and I got really paranoid. By, I guess, smoking the joint, I got really paranoid. I started freaking out inside my head. I guess you could say I was having a mental breakdown. That night, I rushed myself in a cab to my parents' house. This was a couple years later. My parents were still users, but, for me, it was still a safe place for me to be, somewhere where I could go sit in a room and be by myself and figure out what the hell was going on with me. I had no idea what was going on with me. I had scary thoughts going through my head. I couldn't stop thinking the scary thoughts. I thought that was me that was thinking those thoughts. What I find out now is that I was having an anxiety attack, a major anxiety attack that led to a major breakdown. I wasn't able to go back to my house for, I'd say, around a month. The only thing that got me through it was I had a puppy at the time, and I brought her to my parents' house, and I just stayed around her and stayed around my best friend, and that got me through it, and I got myself through it, and that was fine. That part of it was over. It was one of the scariest parts of my life, but it was over, and I could go home, and I could start living my life again. Well, through the years, I had many breakdowns of anxiety, still not knowing what it was, thinking it was me. There was something wrong with me, like, why am I thinking all these weird thoughts? Why am I thinking all these evil things? Everything was negative. Didn't matter what I thought, it was turned into something negative. But still, I didn't get help, because I thought, if I go and tell somebody this, what are they going to think of me? Are they going to lock me up? Are they going to put me in a mental institution? There was something wrong, and, it couldn't be normal. How could the things that I was thinking and what was going on with me be normal? There was no way possible I thought that would be normal. So, I went on with my life, and I met my husband. I had my first daughter. She's amazing. After I had her, I went through postpartum depression, and again, the anxiety was there. Again, still not knowing what it was. I got myself through it again. Not seeking help, no medication. And then I had my second daughter, a couple years later. So I have two. They're beautiful. And everything was amazing. And, we had our life. My husband worked full time. I worked full time. I went pretty much back to work right after we had our second daughter. I had my parents help me watch the kids and stuff. Um, yeah, and one day I woke up and anxiety reared its ugly head again. And I went and I had a really bad mental breakdown, and that mental breakdown lasted quite a while. I got to the point where I was sitting on the couch and I couldn't get up. I couldn't take care of my children. Um, my husband started shying away from me because he didn't know what was going on with me, and neither did I. How do you explain to your husband that you're having all these bad thoughts and everything's negative, and it's even towards the people you love, like I've had negative thoughts towards the people I love, and so that spiraled out of control that time. And this was about when my second daughter was around 2. um, I did go ask for help. I went to the hospital, told my husband, like, I can't sleep. I haven't slept in days. I don't know what's going on with me. Something's wrong with me, and I don't know what it is. First off, I thought it was depression because everything's depression. You're depressed. You're depressed. So I went to the hospital, and they gave me Ativan, and told me, here's a pill. It's gonna help you calm down tonight, and it's gonna help you sleep. You need to get some sleep, but don't get addicted to this pill, and only use it for emergencies. Well, that little pill gave me a sense of, wow, I'm calm. I can think like it's over. So yeah, I did get addicted to that pill. That's right. I got addicted to that pill, and I didn't take the anxiety medicine, or it's like an anti-anxiety depression medicine, that the doctor wanted me to take. Why take it? I could take this little pill and everything would be fine. Well, that little pill made my life even worse, because every time I wasn't on that little pill, I was back to the person that was overthinking, negative thoughts, anxiety. So then that started making me think that I was even more crazy, because I was happy, then I was sad, then I was happy, then I was sad, then I was mad, then I was sad, happy, sad, mad. So it got to the point, and this is the hardest thing to say, for me to go check myself into the hospital. And that was the best thing I could have ever done in my life. I had to leave my family. I had to leave my babies. And I didn't know if I was ever coming back. At that point, I didn't know if I wanted to stay anymore, if the fight was worth it. Sorry. But going to the hospital was the best thing I ever did in my life. I checked myself in. I got counseling. They got me on the right prescriptions I needed to be on. I stayed there for a month, maybe a month and a half. And if I didn't have that month and a half to myself, where I had the right counseling, and for them monitoring my medication on a daily basis, making sure it's taken at the right time, checking with me every day to see if it was working, like how I felt, if I was feeling better, if I could recognize that person in the mirror again. And it took a long time, but I did. I started recognizing that person in the mirror. The negative thoughts started floating away. And after a month and a half, I got to go home, and I slowly went home. I started taking, I'd take, what did they call it? I just get day passes. So I'd go home for the day. I'd spend the day with my kids, and then I'd go, my husband would drive me back, and then I'd go home and I'd spend the day with my kids, and then I'd have a sleepover. So I went home really slowly. And and then I finally got home, and I've been dealing with it by myself ever since. A doctor once told me there, I believe he was a therapist, that actually the reason that you have this anxiety, the reason you feel so strongly about these thoughts, these negative thoughts, is that it's not you. That you're a human being, and your body and mind are telling you that those aren't right and those aren't you. And that's stuck with me the whole time, that they aren't. The reason that I get anxious, the reason that I freak out when I have those kind of thoughts, are because they're not me, is because I'm a happy person. I'm a loving person. I always have been. And that's who I'll always be. um, you know, not everybody can get into the hospital, though. Not everybody can get that month that I got to be able to find yourself again. And I feel if I knew when I was younger what anxiety was, and it was out there, and it wasn't a stigma that you got a mental illness and that you can't talk about it and don't tell anybody because it's wrong. You know, you're wrong. You're not a perfect human being anymore. That I would have been able to bypass so much stuff in my life, and I wouldn't have had to fight those very strong battles that I had to fight. I feel that I would have had help way sooner, because I would have just gone to the doctors and be like, hey, I have anxiety. This is what's happening to me. Please help me. Or if I had a place to go when I was younger, but like I said, when I was younger, when I was in school, you didn't even talk about it. You don't talk about it. No, whatever's going on with you is not okay. And that's not the way we need to think about mental illness. It's not. Anxiety is something I still fight on a day-to-day basis. Not every day, Um, since I've had my breakdowns and since I went to the hospital, it's been about 6 years. I've gotten married. I've seen my kids graduate kindergarten, twice, two of them. I've done so many things, and life is just worth it. It's worth the fight. But anxiety is not me. That's not who I am. I am Ashley Flowers. I am a happy human being. I love my life. I love my family. And anxiety, well, that's just the war that I'm winning. So please follow my channel. I want to bring awareness to mental illness, stop making it such a stigma. Also bring awareness that there's underlying causes to a lot of people's addictions. And I know we see addicts on the streets and we judge them and we don't want to help them. Why help them? They chose it themselves. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people didn't choose. My brother didn't choose at 16 years old to get depression and want to start using drugs. Well, why not, right? Why wouldn't he? It was right in front of him. Both of our parents were users. It was the easiest way. And like I said, you didn't talk about your mental illness. You coped with it yourself. So if we can make it more aware that these young teenagers, these adults, anybody, any age, that, hey, you're normal. No, I don't even know what normal is. You're a human being. We all go through challenges. It's okay to ask for help. And I'm going to be the person that's going to start the awareness and start hopefully raising enough funds and getting enough attention from people to get more places so you don't have to go to the hospital, that there'll be a place of healing, that you can go if you need help. Sometimes we can't go home, and there needs to be a place that we can go. So please follow my channel, follow my Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Sorry, I'm new to this stuff. And follow my Facebook page. All the links will be below. Please like and share these videos. I will be doing a documentary about mental illness. So I guess it's like a web series about mental illness and, stigma, and then addiction and the stigma, and trying to get around all this and make sure everybody gets the help that they need. And I need you, the people, to help. So the more we can spread these videos that I do, the more that you can send people to my channel or my Twitter page. Please do, because the more people I have behind me, the easier it's going to be. Thank you for listening to my story. Yeah. And if you guys have any stories that you want to send me, you can send me a video and I can post it on my YouTube page. Get your story out there as well. I'd love to do that. I'll also put my email address at the bottom. You can tell me if you just want to send me the story, have me watch it. I don't need to post it if you don't want to, but we need more people to be strong enough to post and share their story. The more people that share their stories, the more our children, our teenagers,